you guys are in at a halftime, like with the way that the defense was able to bounce back. Is there a lot of actual changes or adjustments that can be made in those 10 minutes, or is it more of a reaffirming of what you guys had already?
Each game's different. Good question. Sometimes you adjust calls. Sometimes you have two plans. I'm not going to get into that. You can ask Nick about that. Every game sets up a little bit different. Truthfully, he mixed in some different calls there, but a lot of it's just reminding them of, execution-wise, leverages, where we got to be, the proper calls, communication, all that stuff, and just reminding them what's important, kind of we use halftime on the entire team to kind of reset where we're at. Here's where we're at. Here's what we have to do better. Here's some calls that are going to come up that we're going to use. And it's always going to come down to, execution. So there's always that each game is a little bit different with how that goes.
Do you have any injury updates? Anything definitive from the
Yeah, Kaiser is going to go on IR. Bicep. And then, which is, I think he played, 5 or 6 plays with a torn bicep, which was actually kind of gut-wrenching to watch because I didn't know he tore his bicep and he's out there playing with one arm. That's why he is who he is, captain. But the other guys will continue to see, as we get some updates here with the medical and all that and see how we go into next week.
You had a lot of time working with Kyler practice or, watching film and stuff before he came back to the field. But now that you've worked 2 games with him, when it comes to Mondays and looking at film and evaluating, what have you learned about either the type of competitor or leader he is from that process?
Good question, Danny. I mean, there's some plays in that game that he made that reason why we're in the game. And then there's some plays that he's very critical of himself. He takes the arrow in the forehead. He's wearing me out on a plane, at night driving home this morning. I'm sure he wants to play today, you know what I mean? But understanding that it's not about one guy, it never is. But what I've learned is he's ultra competitive and he wants to do everything that he can to help our team win, and I appreciate that. But the type of accountability that he has, it bleeds onto the rest of the team. And our team's been great about it. They're always good on Mondays about that, understanding that we're not where we want to be. We didn't make enough plays to get it done. And we show them, here's things that we got to improve. This is plays that we need to make. This is, we got to practice a little bit better. These couple things, it's our process, though, I think is correct. We just got to continue to grow and perfect that process. But as it relates to Kyler, just like I said, I mean, he's the ultimate pro. He takes huge accountability, and that's why he is who he is.
Does he call you?
We saw a lot of emotion after that touchdown to Rondale on the sideline from you. What were you thinking on that play?
I thought it was a really good play to start the game, throwing it over their head a little bit. I thought it was obviously an excellent, good protection, really good throw and catch. And what was cool is as the play was going on, I hear Drew as real time throw the post. And he let it rip and hit him right in stride, and it was just cool to see that. And I saw emotion out of Kyler too. So really for the team, truthfully, but to start the game with an explosive pass like that to score. But I was excited for him.
Did we call you after games? Did you guys talk on the way home with that?
Yeah, on the phone. I'm glad I have what's it called. I don't have to put the phone in my ear anymore. Bluetooth. Yeah, Bluetooth. And then I couldn't get my gate open, so I'm like, I gotta go. But get the gate fixed, huh, Bob? But he watches the tape with Iz, and then he watches it with Drew, and then he comes back to me, and then he wants to talk about it more. I mean, he's got fire in his gut, you know what I mean, and that's cool.
It's part of the game, but just how brutal is it for somebody like Kaiser with how much he puts into this?
All our guys, honestly, Bo, it's part of the game. We know that. But, we've had some guys nicked, and what his value is to the team and to the defense. And, it's hard to see. You feel for all those guys, not just Kaiser. We've had multiple guys get nicked, just like every team has, And that's, like I said, it's part of the game, the NFL. That's what it is. But just feel bad for the guy.
Tyler mentioned yesterday that on the play to Trey, he thought his feet were a little off. And Izzy told us a couple of weeks ago about a change from left foot, right foot to right foot, left foot. Is Kyler still, you think, trying to get a little comfortable with that?
Yeah, I think all of those, you play quarterback from the ground up, so I think just the more and more snaps he can get with the play types and, and understand how the pocket's affecting that too, I think. But Kyler's a guy that can play with, as Drew would say, some dirty feet at times and make it happen. But I think when he's really humming, his feet are clean. And that's something he works on every day.
When Kaiser went to the sidelines, Chris Barnes definitely stepped in.
Yeah.
He obviously made that interception. What have you seen from his development, and how do you kind of expect for his role
Yeah, I
to
feel
grow?
really good about Chris. He came in there. He started games for us. He's played well. Extremely smart guy, can play multiple positions. You know how we kind of move those guys around. But I thought Josh took over the green dot, and then Chris came in, and both of them played winning football. So we'll figure out who we got available this week, put together a plan, and go to work.
Were you surprised to see the wheels he had there?
Somebody said that to me. I did. It kind of ran right in front of me, and I saw him peek over his right shoulder because I think Tank Dell was coming after him. I was just worried about ball security because we coach that, and that's a real thing. After you take away the ball on defense, a lot of times you see it come out again because defensive guys don't carry the ball a lot. But he did a good job of cross-gripping traffic.
What was on the 4th and 3 and not going for the field goal at that point to get within 2 points? Overall, you're thinking on that decision?
Every game's a little different, but we got a process that we kind of use, and felt really good about that process where it was that part of the game. Obviously what goes into that, all the things that you guys know, what's going on with the offense, what's going on with the defense, time of the game, score, things like that. But felt good about the call, and they made one more play than us, But sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But I felt good about going for it there, and I know our team is behind that as well because we explained to them, here's the thought process of doing those certain things. So get back in the lab and go for it. But not every game is the same, So I always tell our guys, like, I'm not ever going to be always or never. A wise man avoids all extremes. So it's somewhere in there. But with saying that, we have a process that we kind of use and stick to, and that's comforting too for me. And then, if you're not results driven, then it's comforting to know that you don't really second guess yourself. So I've went for it, on 4th downs, and they work out. But if they don't, you got to be okay with it too.
How much do you look at, how much stock do you put into how many catches your corners give up and for how many yards?
It's one tool that we use, but, I'm more concerned about all 11, how we're functioning as a defense, and where the stress is, where the strength are of each calls, if we're playing to that, if we're sound, if we're executing at a high level, but we always evaluate production.
Along those lines, kind of how would you assess Marco's play right now?
Yeah, I think it's just like everybody. It's never about one guy. I'm sure he wants some plays back, but, he did some good things earlier in the game. And then I think just as the game went on, just a little bit of technique issues for Marco, which he's got to continue to clean up, just like all of our guys. But you guys know that's a hard position, and we put them in some hard downs. And, that's why the corner position is what it is. But he battles in there, and he keeps his head up, and he goes to work.
I think technically you can activate Zach Ertz this week. He's missed 4 games. Do you think he could be ready to practice?
Yeah, we'll see this week how it goes here. I got a couple days to figure that out, and then we'll make the decision with Zach. I like where he's trending right now, but we'll see where it goes.
There's a report that Lackey could grit through an injury, could be staring down possibly surgery. Is there any update on that?
Nah, kind of still waiting on that, see what the best decision is for Lecky first and then for us.
Wood spoke on challenging players are challenging each other at halftime. Just how refreshing is that to see that accountability on display and not having to really?
Yeah, I think I told him today you see certain things go on in the NFL, and we're not concerned about that. My concern is, are we doing the right things on a daily basis? And what you just spoke to, Tyler, is they take ultimate accountability and they stay aligned. And, they're on the same page with what needs to be done, as we move forward. And it's just good. It's really because of the leadership in the locker room, truthfully, from the captains to right on down to everybody. And as long as that stays consistent, you'll have a chance to win. You know what I mean? But if that's not consistent, you won't. And they understand that.
You talked about Kyler and his process after a game, or after now he's had a win and a loss. How about for you, a 5-point loss? I mean, how long do you replay scenarios? Do you hopefully get some sleep? But what is that process like for you?
Yeah, it's intensive the first 24 hours, but the NFL is the next week. So. I don't really dwell on it too much from after talking to you guys, reliving it, right now. But once I kind of done with you guys, then I'm on to the next one. Just how I've always been, honestly. Do thoughts creep in my head, certain times? Yeah. I start to, at times think, oh, if this, woulda, shoulda, coulda. But you got to put all your focus and energy into the Rams, and that's what I'll do here shortly.
When you get home after game, do you put football aside, even if the kids are down or whatever, or do you just keep
Yeah, they were up yesterday because I don't think they had school, but God, go to bed. But the kids, Dad, just kick 3 field goals and you win. I got it. But Rocco, I know. Could you imagine that? Lola says, Dad, you need a new strategy. I got it. No. Yeah, it's a little bit different each week, truthfully.
Any concern with Michael Wilson, that he could miss an extended amount of time?
Not right now. We'll see kind of how it goes. He's got some things this next couple days that we got to work through, but hopefully he's good to go here.
Was that an aggravation of the previous injury or different?
I don't want to say a little bit of both. It's kind of a new deal, truthfully. Right around that same area.